Hello and welcome to the Strategic Planning Workshop. The whole point of the Strategic Planning Workshop is to help you, the business owner, create a strategic plan for the new year in your business. Will the plan change throughout the year? Probably, but you need to go through the process of planning to know where you want to take your business from where it is today to where you want it to be by the end of the year. And you need a plan to do that, because I hear this from business owners all the time. When I say, where do you want to be in a year? And then they start thinking, well, I want to double my revenue. Is that realistic? I don't know. Or I want to hit that elusive $1 million mark in our business. And how are you going to get there? Well, I really don't know. Having the plan will give you a precise roadmap, if you will, for you to guide your business throughout the year. It's going to have some hiccups. It's going to have some turns. It might even go backwards a little bit before it goes forward. It happens. But you need to have a strategic plan placed in your business so you know where you're going to go. And I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, your facilitator. And my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier and more fun. I'm a business marketing strategist, podcast host, professional speaker, author of 8 books, and coffee enthusiast. And coaches business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack 7 figures without burning themselves out. Because most of them lack a solid marketing strategy. They're in burnout mode and they struggle with sustainable revenue and profits. So I help them skyrocket predictable profits through their messaging, implement strategic systems and processes to gain the freedom in their lives and have the competitive edge for long-term success. Bottom line is, in 45 minutes, I can uncover anywhere from $50,000 to over $100,000 or more in hidden revenue in a business without spending more on marketing or advertising, which allows you to start reaching your business and personal financial goals much faster. And if you'd like to check me out, I'm on all social media platforms, so knock yourself out. But that's all you're going to hear about me today. Let's get into the content. We have plenty of worksheets that we're going to share with you. Now, are you going to use them all in your business and creating your own strategic plan? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you found another way to do it, put it down on paper or put it on a computer. Then go for it. What I'm going to show you are some basic worksheets that'll help you, give you the guidance and the framework to create your own strategic plan. I do this in workshops and with many of my clients. And it always seems to help putting pencil on paper that really solidifies the idea. If you like to use computers, Slack, Evernote, whatever it is, fine, do that. There is no really one way to do this. You don't like the colors of the worksheet, fine, change them. But we'll give you the link so you can download all of these worksheets and customize them for you and your business. Remember, this is just a framework, a starting point, a reference. Pick and choose what you like, what'll work the best for your business. And like we always say, if you always need help on it, please let us know. Let's sit down and work this out with you. We've done it with so many different businesses, small shapes, sizes, different levels of where they are in the business cycle, different employee numbers, everything. And it always comes back down to get something on paper, something that it's tangible, that you can explain to anyone. As one of my coaches used to say, could you explain your annual strategic plan to a 5-year-old and they would understand it? If the answer is yes, hey, you've got a pretty straightforward, solid plan. If the answer is no, maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and work on that plan a little bit. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to kick into is a vision book. It could be a vision board, but I'm going to call this a vision book. And when you see it, you're going to understand why. In the documents I'm going to share, one is going to be a sample, which I'm going to show you right now. And one's going to be blank so you can customize it, well, for you. But I want to show you a sample of one kind of completed. Will it all resonate with you? Who knows? But get something down. So let's take a look at that vision book. So this is the vision book template sample. It's going to give you the resources so you can build your own vision, because you really need to know where you want to be in a year. If you're unclear, then, well, chances are that's the results you're going to get. It's just like when in business, what's your exit strategy? And many business owners are thinking, well, I'm going to just sell it for $1 million or 5 times EBITDA. It's not going to happen if you don't have a plan and you build the business to be a business. Some people build a business that's actually just a great revenue stream. And when it comes time for them to retire, they can't sell it because they didn't build a business. So the difference between building a business and a great revenue stream is, well, the difference between building a business and a great income stream is a business can survive without you, the founder, the owner, the operator. Whereas a great revenue stream can supply you with income for as long as you're working, but the second you stop working in your business, the business goes away. No one wants to buy a business where you are the linchpin, period, because they know the second you walk, all business dries up. So why would they buy it? But if you built a business where you can go on a vacation for a month and not hear from any of your staff, and the business keeps growing, that's a business. And where I see a lot of business owners, it's like, if I went on vacation, I got to close the doors. I can't answer the phone because I'm on vacation. And I took my 2 employees, which are my spouse and my son. That's not a business. That's an income stream. So think, are you building a business or a great income stream? There's no wrong answer, but you got to decide, which one do you want to be? Do you want to sell it one day and live and enjoy the fruits of your sweat equity? Or do you want to just bank as you're going along and hope you have enough money in the bank at the end? Because no one's going to buy it. They might buy your database or your assets. But we're not talking big money here. So let's get started on your vision book. So this is your book. You can call it whatever you like. Change the images if you like. But put in your name. Put in the month, day, year. Give it some quantifiable action steps. So we're going to look at 10 life categories. Pretty simple: spiritual, marriage, family, property, religious, financial, business, fitness, growth, hobbies, and social. Hey, we got to be social. Will all these categories resonate with you? Possibly. But use them. So we're going to look at each one individually. So put in a good picture that really says something with you. If you are spiritual, does not matter what your religion is, put something there that you really connect with. So on your spiritual goals, what are you going to do daily? Is it going to be every week? Are you going to attend your church, synagogue, mausoleum, whatever it is? Be as detailed as possible. The more detail you put in, that's more of a plan. If it's vague and nebulous, guess what? Over time, over the course of the year, it's going to just slowly kind of dissipate like fog, because it's not written in stone. And that's why I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions, because a resolution is something you make on December 31st at 11:58 p.m. and you're going to make all these false promises. And then by January 2nd, one of them could have been, number one resolution is lose weight. And then January 2nd, that guy Bob from accounting brings in a dozen beautiful donuts, and there goes your resolution. So the more concrete you have things, the better it will help you and solidify it to be a goal for you. Next, marriage goals. Maybe you're married, maybe you're not. Maybe you want to be, maybe you don't want to be. Whatever the case may be, put it in your marriage goals. What are you going to do together to liven up your marriage, maybe? And I see this with business owners. So wrapped up in your business and you forget about your home life. I have saved more marriages as equal number as businesses. And it shocked me when business owners tell me that I've saved their marriage, not only their business. And the reason was they started living again. They started giving time back to their spouse, but they had a plan to do that. So maybe you want to go ballroom dancing or a trip to Europe. Maybe you want to have a home hot tub. Maybe it's something you both enjoy. Ski trip, whatever the case may be. Build it to, this is one page you should be building with your spouse or significant other, whatever the case may be. Build it together. Why? Wow, I mean, the power of two people and you're on the same page. This page is going to be phenomenal for you. So build it together. Maybe you have a family, kids, maybe adopted, whatever the case may be. But think of them too as a minority shareholder and managing partner in your business. So you're going to contribute to their college fund, buy them cars. What about, holiday gifts? This is things you need to put in there. Family trip, maybe to Disneyland, right? Put that in here. Think of their future and how are they being involved and how are you supporting them? If you want to build that strong relationship with your family, have a clear goal about it. Just don't go willy-nilly because that could deteriorate as well. Family property. Maybe you love where you live. Maybe you don't like where you live. Maybe you want to live in a different country. Maybe you want to live on the beach. Maybe you want to live in the mountains. Whatever the case may be, put great, vivid pictures of where you want to live in your mind. So, for example, that log cabin up there, that is something that entertains me. So whatever it is, get that photo, search the internet, find what you like. And I had one business owner, he goes, I want this house. And it was in their town. And he took a picture of the house, got pictures from the realtors, and he put it in his little vision book here. He looked at his vision book every single day. He's like, I'm going to buy that house. But he had a plan to buy the house. He knew how much it would cost, renovations, fees, everything. He was determined to buy that house. He ended up, by wishing it so much, the house went on the market in the third month of his wishing for it. And his determination of saving money and getting to know the people, the neighbors, everything else. When the house went on the market, he actually already knew the owner. The owner just said, okay, let's do the deal because he wanted that house. He found the owner and they started developing a relationship. And he always said to him, hey, if you ever think about selling, call me first. And that's what happened. So where do you want to live? Maybe it could be your vacation house. Who knows? Be as vivid and clear as possible. I mentioned Disneyland for the kids. Family vacation. Maybe it's just you and your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. Put it in here. One business owner I had, they put in their family vacation that he and his spouse wanted to go to a European vacation. All like top end, they didn't do anything, no driving, they don't want to think, they want a tour guide. They put all that in there. They found a company that actually supplied what they were looking for. They put all of that in here. And it was so detailed. When he was saving up money for it, the company that had this program, they actually reduced the price so he got to do it earlier and faster. But he was crystal clear of where he and his spouse wanted to go. So be as crystal clear. Put in some great pictures. Talk about there's that beach with the pool and the cabana. Hey, go for it. Dream big. Maybe you're religious. If you are, this is a good place to put in your religious goals. whatever the religion may be. Are you going to pray every day? Are you going to read scripture? Are you going to attend services? Maybe you're just going to go on the holidays like a lot of people. Whatever the case may be, put in your religious goals. And if you're not religious, then, and you don't have any religious goals, then skip over this page. But put in religious goals that are to you. What's special to you? Maybe you want to be a member of a congregation of a certain church. Put the pictures of that church in. Put pictures of the being filled with people, and imagine yourself in that congregation, sitting in that church and listening to the sermon or whatever it may be. Be as specific as possible. Financial goals. I hear this a lot. Well, I want to have X number of dollars in my bank by the end of the year. Great. How are you going to get there? I don't know. This is not the time to worry about how am I going to get there. Don't worry about that right now. But put in how much do you want to earn? How much passive income do you have? Maybe affiliates, joint ventures. Who knows? Put it all in here. There's no right or wrong answer. Don't worry about the how right now. Just put it in here. What do you want your net worth to be? How much do you want to have saved by the end of the year? And how much do you want to have like given away? So given away, it could be charitable, it could be contributions, it could be something. What are you giving back to your community? It could be even that form. One of my business owners says, I'm going to give away, $10,000 to the local schools around me. And I'm like, well, that's pretty good. Why are you going to do that? He goes, they can't buy uniforms for all their sports teams. He goes, I grew up in this neighborhood and we never had, all we had are our normal t-shirts while all the other teams had these matching uniforms. And we were always jealous. That was an unbelievable goal. So he actually put money in his budget to give back to the schools so they could just have those matching uniforms because it was something deep to them, to that person. Whatever the case may be, find it. We're going to cover this one a little bit later. This is going to summarize everything we're talking about, but this is your business goals. So we're going to get into this one a little bit deeper. It is a busy sheet. You probably just went, when you first saw it. Don't worry about it. We're going to break it down section by section. And we do have a blank copy of this for you in the document so you can fill out to your heart's content on it. Fitness goals. Remember, I said number one resolution is lose weight. Number one resolution gets broken within 14 days is lose weight. That's just the way it is. But what is your fitness goals? Take care of your body, take care of your mind, and you're going to have a great life. You want to retire one day and do all this traveling, better to take care of your body and your mind so you're able to do that. Have fitness goals in there so you can take care of your body. Because if you're not taking care of your body, it will affect your business. If you're eating junk food every day, you're going to start feeling sluggish, you get fog brain, and it goes on and on. So where do you want your weight to be? How are you going to get there? What are you going to do? Work out, eat right, maybe hire a trainer, a nutrition coach, whatever the case may be. Be as detailed as possible. So whatever your goal is, maybe it's to tone up, maybe it is to lose weight, maybe it's some people need to gain weight. Put it in here. What are your growth goals? I just mentioned the body. What are you doing for the mind? Maybe you want to get that certification in something or get a degree. I know some people like to go and I want to get a doctorate. Well, why didn't you? Well, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the time. I didn't really know what I wanted. Now they do. Whatever your growth goals are, put it in here. So whatever it is, put in those growth goals. Hobbies. Are you going to sit in front of the boob tube and just veg out? Or are you going to use that time to expand, to do something else? Learn the drums. I mean, heck, sewing, gardening. What is it? Find a great hobby. Maybe it is playing golf. Maybe it is an activity. But put pictures in there of what your hobby really is. Social goal. Come on, we humans are social creatures. What are your social goals? Are you going to go networking? Is it for business? Probably. But you got to get your butt out there. I hear this all the time. I need to really go network. I need to go do this. I need to go do that to get out my name out there, to get more business. But there's no goal to it. Here's the thing to do. How many networking events are you going to go to? What kind of events? Be specific. Maybe you're in a certain industry and they have conferences, associations. You should be attending those conferences regularly for multiple reasons. You're networking with your fellow peers, gaining knowledge, and bringing that knowledge back to your business to help you grow your business. And you never know who you're going to meet. So what is your social goals? Maybe it is just to hang out with friends once a week, once a month. You know, one guy even goes, he has it on his calendar that he hangs out with the guys once a month for beers. Great, but it's a plan. It's in his calendar. What is yours? Then you wrap it all up. So here's a summary of one of the top ones from, every section. You can put them all in here. Don't make your list so crazy that you have 500 things on this. That's insane. Be specific. So meditate for 30 minutes every day. Is that doable? Yes. Can it be quantified? Yes. Can it be blocked out? Yes. Same with date night with your partner. Do you see how these things can all be scheduled? Put it in there. I know it sounds like got to schedule everything. Trust me, if you don't block out time for date night, you're going to be like many millions of other people. I'll get to it one day. That one day never comes. So block out that time. Purchase that cabin in the mountains. Yay. Take the family on a vacation. Do you see? It's not the specifics, like how-tos. It's your goals. So keep them up here. Don't overthink any of this. Next, let's move on over to a content template. This is the content marketing template. It'll also be available in the documents. But here's where you want to think out your strategic marketing plan for the entire year. Now, you've probably heard this a million times. You need to mix it all up. It can't be all about buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. No one will do that. Everyone will ignore you. So you need to break it out in 4 simple quadrants. First is entertain. You're going to see also going from awareness to purchase, from left to right, and you're going to go from rational to emotional, going upward. So as you see, more emotional is entertain and awareness. Having something funny, something related to your industry, but it's entertaining. It's not selling your stuff. Please make it fun. Next is to inspire. Maybe it's a quote. Maybe it's something related to your industry and it's a quote. I know a CPA who actually does this matrix. Their inspiring quotes are actually all related to accounting and numbers and measuring, and they are actually very good. You think it's going to be dry, boring, and oh my God, it's CPA. It's inspiring, and it's related to his industry. And they are entertaining, even though he doesn't think so. Educate. Now, educating a prospect gets them closer to get you on their radar. Maybe you're giving away free content, a free workbook, whatever the case may be. Educate the audience. Give it away. You're thinking, well, if I give away my content, my ideas, then no one will buy from me. That is one of the biggest myths out there. They will, but you need to educate your prospect enough so they start getting you on their radar so they can move towards the purchase. So educate them. That's what a lot of consumers do. That's why the internet, people are bouncing into websites and bouncing out. Why? They want to be educated. They're looking for answers. Give them the answers. Convince. Now's when you start pushing them over the top a little bit. And I'm saying that in a nice way. When you're convincing them, that's where you're taking all these other components and like saying, hey, I have an offer. Here's where it is. Maybe you have a workshop coming up. Now, this is the convince. You've been educating and entertaining them and giving them all that inspiring quotes or whatever the case may be. Now's the time to get them into your workshop. So you got to convince them to say yes and sign up. Maybe for money, maybe not for money. But all your marketing should be balanced between these 4 quadrants. So that's what I always say. It's like, look at your current marketing and where you're going to put it. Is it balanced, or is it weighted to one square way too much? So think of this when you are creating your marketing plan, which we're going to get into here in a moment. Now, this worksheet has quite a few other things in here. We have a content SWOT analysis. Now, this is pretty good for a lot of businesses who really think, well, I don't know jack about marketing, or I know everything about marketing. Whatever the case may be, put it in a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what are your strengths? Maybe, you are great at copy. Great, that's your strength. Maybe your weakness is going on live, like Facebook Lives, LinkedIn Lives, whatever it is. You're like, don't want to do it. That's a weakness. Maybe there's other opportunities that you haven't thought about, such as being behind the camera, interviewing someone else during those Facebook and LinkedIn Lives. Threats. What kind of threats are out there? And this one, I'm always shocked that most business owners don't know. If you're posting everything on Facebook and you're gaining all your clients, and I got 10,000, 1 million followers on Facebook. If Zuckerberg decides to shut down Facebook tomorrow, guess what happens to all those contacts? Gone. So what are you doing to get them off of that platform into a platform you can control called your database? Maybe it's your email list. That's a big threat. When Facebook went down for 3 days, the world ended for many, many people because they lived and died on that one platform that they don't own. That is a huge threat. Another threat is if you're all on one social media platform, and as you know, there's always a new one right around the corner that can harm the one that you're on. But what are you going to do about it? Are you prepared for it? So think about those 4 quadrants. Think about your SWOT analysis when it comes to marketing. What are your strengths, weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats? Don't go crazy with over-analyzing all this. This is a great exercise to do with someone who knows your business, a mentor, a coach, a fellow business owner in the industry. Start brainstorming and putting ideas down. It's a lot of fun, and you're going to start realizing you might have some more weaknesses than you thought. Next, let's move to the annual marketing plan. Okay, this is an annual marketing plan. This part is more of for the financial, the budgetary. It's so simple. And I've seen so many people, they overcomplicate this. It really shouldn't be this crazy. If you're going to post on, let's say, Facebook, then your marketing plan may be like weekly Facebook posts. What is that going to cost you? Maybe it's $0. But then your next one might be paid advertising on Facebook. Now is when you put in that data. Maybe it's $50 a week, a month, whatever the case may be. That's where you start putting that in. Do this for every single marketing activity, everything. If you're buying an ad in the local newspaper, the local rag, whatever it is, it goes in here. If it's just posting, say, on Instagram, do you have to hire a graphic designer? Or do you have to buy stock images? Whatever that is, should be in here. This is your marketing plan, everything. That includes advertising. So put all that in, quantify these numbers. Now, I'm going to show you something that I get a lot of chuckles with when I do this in a workshop, but I see everyone kind of, once they get over their laughter and making fun of it, they really attach themselves to it because it is so simple that anyone could do it. Doesn't take rocket science, and it kind of gets everything out of their head on a piece of paper. And this is it. It's basically just a calendar. That's it. So here's where you're going to have to change your months. As you see on the bottom, every tab has its own month. You put in the dates. So let me show you a sample of it. Give you a sample. Put in the dates of the month, whatever it is. So like say 1/1 or whatever year. Put in the dates. Now, what are you promoting? So maybe it's an announcement. You can color code this. I'm just giving you tons and tons of options. I use this all the time, and I know what I'm posting every single day throughout the whole year and where. So it might say email and social media. When I put social media SM behind something, that includes all of these, and I believe one more. Wherever you post, whatever it is, put it in here. This is going to stop the whole scramble. What am I going to do today? Next thing you know, you get busy and the day is over. Now what? You didn't get to post, but you have to have a plan. What are you going to post? It has to have an end goal. That's what I've been showing you. It needs to have a strategic plan of why you're posting. There has to be some strategy behind it. Stop just posting to be posting. I started posting coffee memes, I think 5-6 years ago, and it's stuck. So now if I don't post a coffee meme in a day, I get direct messaging like there is no tomorrow. Am I okay? Am I in the hospital? Am I traveling? People will expect my coffee meme every day. And it's turned into a big thing of having my own coffee brand, my newsletter, The Full Bean, my podcast, Biz Coach and Coffee, as well as Experts Over Coffee. It has turned into something, a part of my branding. So whatever it is, but it has a strategy all behind it. So you got to come up with, what are you going to post? It could be social media. It could be public relations, PR, press releases. It could be, networking. Put it all in here. Color code it if you like. You notice those 4 categories are back here as well. Why? To make sure when you color code it, you can see an even balance and mix. Even events. Are you attending an event? Are you speaking at a gig? Maybe you have a workshop, and here's your promotions for those workshops. Put all that in there, because maybe you have to do a drip campaign for the promotions for the workshop. It should be in here. Why? You need to make sure it's posted so it doesn't go through the cracks. Next thing you know, what I've seen happen is someone will have a workshop, and then I say, how'd it go? And they're like, no one showed up. How'd you promote it? Well, I forgot to create the copy for it, and I forgot to put it in the news or in my newsletter. I forgot to set out emails. Well, if it's written out and you can visually see this, it could be digitally, it could be printed, whatever it is, then it gets you to take some action. Because now you know what you have to do every single day of that month. So have a strategic plan, and it says, who is the audience? Why are you posting? What results do you want? And when are you posting? You can get specific, change the fields, it's Excel. You can even have what time you're going to post, because certain times of the day does affect your open rate. Next, let's get into a profit worksheet. Okay. Here is the profit worksheet. Very simple. As you see, it's not rocket science, people, but you really need to know where you're at, your last year's numbers. Where do you want to be? That's it. So let's say last year you generated 500 leads, and now this year you want to have 1,000. Great. And you were converting at 25% last year, but you've gotten really good at this. Maybe you found a way to say something better or hook them, whatever the case is. And you can increase that to 30%. Great. And by the way, you just put these numbers in, you can change them around, and it all does it for you, all the calculations. So now you're going to have, like, say, new customers. Here's where your customers were last year, new customers. How many customers did you keep? So that's the rolling over from the last year to this year. So maybe you have 100 clients rolling over into the new year. But now it knows that. So if you need new customers, it's actually doing the calculations, figuring you need 350 more. And then now you have your customers. So it's adding it all back up. Your new customers plus retained customers, because it's doing it by a factor. It's figuring it all out. It can do all this work. See, it can show you. And you can say how many you're going to retain. I think it should be 25%. Let's get that more realistic. So 25% are you're always retaining. 75% are walking out door, which is so now how many new customers do you need? How many customers you're going to have by the end of the year? What's your annual revenue per customer? You should always know this. How much money you're going to make per customer, your revenue, gross revenue. It does the calculations of your revenue and put in your gross margins. You should know that. Take it off your financial statements. Gives you your gross profit. And then what are your costs, your fixed costs? Put that in here and it gives you your net profits. So what is the difference between last year and this year? Not a bad day. It's a good start. Now leads. Okay, there's strategic and tactical. Strategic is the planning, like what we're doing now. The copy, the images, that's strategic when you're doing marketing. The tactical is sending out that newsletter or sending out that direct mail piece. That's tactical. Most business owners, small business owners, focus on the tactical and ignore the strategic when it should be the other way around. Focus on the strategic and pick the right tactical means of getting that out. What are your key performance indicators? How are you going to measure this? In one of my businesses, I had 2 different postcards. One I paid a lot of money for and graphic designers, and it was glossy. I mean, it was, oh my God, it was beautiful. It was the Taj Mahal of all direct mail pieces. And then the other one was this cheapy 4x6 postcard that I traded some services with a printer, and it had funny saying on it, and it was cheesy. And I thought, oh, okay, well, it's free. So I sent them both out, and they both had, well, distinctive differences, so I can measure the difference. So I knew how many I sent out and how many came back in. Well, my glossy, beautiful piece, it was a negative 100% ROI. I didn't make a penny off of that. Whereas the cheap free postcard, all I did was put a label and a stamp on it. The ROI on that was over 20,000%. So how are you measuring your marketing goals? Time management plan. This is critical because if you're so busy being busy, you can't go out there and get leads. That comes back to that networking. How are you going to generate leads? Your marketing, everything we've been talking about. Your conversion is your unique, sustainable, your preference, what makes you different? And do you have a guarantee? What is it? What separates you from everyone else? Do you use a sales management system, some kind of CRM? Do you have your employees on a percentage or a performance incentive plan? That helps your conversion strategy. And for revenue, there's upsell, cross-sell, downsell. If you wonder what those are, think McDonald's. Upsell, would you like to supersize that? Cross-sell, would you also like to have an apple pie with your Happy Meal? And downsell, oh, you don't want the large? We can move it down to a medium. Pretty simple. They have this down to a science, by the way. What kind of organizational plans do you have? How are you building your business? Do you see employees in the future? Who does what? What kind of related products or services, ancillary items, maybe joint ventures? And how are you communicating that to your client? That's critical. Gross margin is your lean model. Are you fat? And I don't mean physically, I mean in your business. I've seen a lot of fat organizations where it's like, why do you have 50 employees when no one's at capacity and you could run your whole business with 12 employees? I'm not getting it. You're running fat. You need to know how to look at those items within your business to see, are you lean or are you fat? Internal systems and controls. I'm a big fan of this. And the reason is you can't grow your business without internal systems and controls. If you don't have those controls in place and you start getting more revenue, things will fall through the cracks, maybe shipping, logistics, personnel, whatever the case may be. Be ready for it. An employee acquisition plan. Vendor analysis. Folks, you're running a business. Your vendors are increasing prices. You probably haven't. Take a look at your vendors and possibly shop them at least once a year to see, are you getting the best value for your money? Fixed cost, where's your break-even moment? Where is that point? You really need to know your break-even point. A comprehensive exit strategy, oh my gosh, yes. Remember, business versus a great income stream. And what is your current business plan? Or you want to grow? Where do you want to take the business? Where do you want it? What is your plan? That's what we're creating. And how are you developing yourself as a leader and your staff? I'm a big believer of developing your team because your team will actually increase your revenue. Having a great team on board will give you, well, you're going to sleep better at night, and they're going to come up with some better ideas than you ever thought of. And I'm a big believer of hiring people smarter than you to do that one discipline. Find the best, hire them, give them the tools, the resources, and let them do their dang job. They're going to bring you in way more money than you ever dreamt. And then revenue, profit, you really need to know your numbers. As Tom Peters says, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. You need to always look at your profit loss statements, your budgets, everything. Do a cash flow analysis. See the future through cash flow analysis. And what is your strategic plan? What are the actions are you going to take in your business to grow? Now, we've been talking about money and numbers. Look at a budget. You got to have a budget. Now, this is probably one of the most basic budgets I can offer you. If you have any type of accounting software, it has it all in there. I cannot stress that enough. Just use it. Please use something. This is as rudimentary as it comes. I do this for a lot of startups because giving them too much, it'll be overwhelming. But it's basic. What is your revenue? Put in your revenue line items. Separate them out. Just don't lump everything in. If you're selling 10 different products, don't put it all in one line item and go revenue. Break out each product line because you need to measure it, find out what are going to be your cash cows and which items are going to be your dogs. Now, if you have cost of goods, cost of sales, you will. You're going to have labor, maybe you have rent, maybe you have computer, internet, whatever it is, put in those cost of sales. That's directly to the sale. So the easiest way is if you're making something, you have cost of goods directly related to that item. That's easy to track. Service-based business, maybe your cost of sales, if you don't have, it's just general expenses, you probably have zero in here. So like a CPA, cost of sales might be just printing because they're going to print so many copies for a client and they charge that client for the copy. So it's a cost. And then down here is the expenses, as simple as it gets. Think of everything. We have one of the workshops I teach called ABCs of Starting a Business, and we call it the toilet paper test. People want to open up a restaurant, and we tell them to go to a restaurant and look at everything and write down every single thing that they have to buy. Pictures, the little vases with the fake flowers, and we call it a toilet paper test. Did you walk into the bathroom, realize that they have to buy toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, all the other accompaniments that go along with it? 9 times out of 10, business owners are underestimating their expenses because they didn't do the toilet paper test. You have to look at every little teeny tiny thing, put it in here, and be realistic. If you are, where's the one? It's always on here. It's office supplies. Sometimes people put in office supplies like $100 every single month. Are you actually going to go to Staples or whatever every single month and spend $100? Probably not. Maybe you're going to go 2-3 times a year and spend $200, $300 per pot. Make it realistic. If you don't have that history, you got to swag it, which is scientific wild ass guessing. But do your best. This is where we help our clients out quite a bit on that. But come up with a budget. Use your software. I love using it in my software because it's so easy. I can go line by line and create my budget. It is super simple. And then it's done. And now I can do what's called a variance report. The actual expenditures and revenue versus what I budgeted, and it tells me those things. So now I can make better decisions in my business. All I can say is you really must have an annual budget for your business. Next, we're going to talk about a productivity calendar. This is a productivity calendar. Some people like it, some people don't, but it gives you an idea. It's very, as you can see, it's very color coded. Whatever the case may be, block out the times. And I'm going to give you a couple examples of worksheets in all the documents that you could use. I'm a big fan of electronic calendars, so I actually block it out on paper, and then I actually transfer everything into my electronic calendar only once a year. I live and die by my calendar because this is going to help you separate out whether you just being busy. Are you busy planning on business? Are you busy generating revenue? Are you busy motivating, leading, developing your staff? What is it? Block everything out. So block out those things. Block out date night. Block out vacation. Put it in your calendar. Whatever calendar system you use something. Just use something. But this gives you an idea of color coding, like client time. I even block out, and I know clients that do this, block out outbound time. This is only outbound. So if the phone rings coming in, they ignore it. All emails are off. Nothing comes in during outbound time. It's all outbound emails, outbound calls, outbound whatever. And you stay hyper-focused that way, so nothing distracts. And then I threw a blank one in here as well. And I'll also include a couple others, such as a simple time block calendar. This might work for a lot of people. I have actually seen one of my clients had these were printed out for every single week. And I couldn't, it's like, why don't you have it electronic or any other ways? He goes, I fold it up, I keep it in my pocket. I always look at it all day. It keeps me in track. He goes, I don't make it. One of my staff members actually looks at my electronic calendar, puts it, just does a print out of it and gives it to me. Works for him. Whatever the case, whatever works for you, please block out your time. Maximize your time. Don't waste it being busy. Here is that strategic plan worksheet, which will be in the documents, so you can definitely write on this. So now is when you kind of take everything that we've been talking about and put it in one document. A lot of my clients do love using this, and they say they actually get a big print out of it and it's on their wall in their office. And the reason is so they can look at it all the time and stay on track. So we talked about the SWOT analysis. That is in here. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. He took it off that other sheet and put it in here. Why? He needs to make sure his strengths stay strengths. He needs to work on the weaknesses. He always needs to look at other opportunities, and he has now a different vision and different mindset because he's always listening to his staff and he's thinking of opportunities that he has never realized. And then threats. He hears it all the time. It could be competitors. That's direct. It could be indirect. The economy, recession. Those are threats to your business. Are they in there? Are you planning for it? One of my clients is a CPA. And you know what? His threat is like H&R Block, all those puppy mill, as they call them, puppy mill tax planners. They're just knocking out tax returns. They can care less if they're trying to save you real money. They're just there to knock out tax returns. That's a huge threat for them. So how can he overcome that? So he has to show more value for the price that he charges. And he does very well at that. But for the longest time, he goes, well, they're a big threat. And I'm like, so what are we going to do about it? And he's like, well, I got to beat them at their own game and lower my prices. No, don't do that. So we had to come up with a plan to overcome that known threat. That threat is still always on his SWOT. This one's great. What are your core values and beliefs? We worked on this with one of my clients. We came up with his core values and beliefs. And he says, I'm only going to work with these kind of clients. This is the way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to give up my integrity or take shortcuts or anything like that. Any decision that he does in his business has to go to his core values and beliefs. And it's like, should I do this to bring this product or service into my business? And it's always yes or no based on his core beliefs and his values. It is a great litmus test. Whatever it is for you and your business, find out what makes you you. What are your core values and beliefs? And what is your purpose? What's your why? Why do you do what you do? That should just roll right off your tongue. I mean, I'm passionate about seeing business owners survive and thrive and build a long-term sustaining business. What is yours? That's my passion. That's my purpose. I found it in life. I am so thankful for it. What is your purpose? What is your why? Is it to help people? Is it to give back to the community? What is it? Who is your target market? Please, everyone is not your target market. So get that out of your head. Who is your target market? And what is your targets? So let's zoom in there just a little bit for you. So your targets, where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years? Your revenue, your profits. We did a little bit of that earlier. Put it in here. Your sandbox, your market. Okay, where do you like to play? That's what it really means. What industries? That's where you're at. Certain industries I gravitate to and they gravitate towards me. That's my market. Oh, forgot this on purpose. What is your action? The action items for your purpose. And it has in here the BHOG. That's big, hairy, audacious goal. Think big. What is it? One of my clients said, well, I'm going to reach out to like 10 prospects a day. I'm like, well, how long does that take you? 30 minutes. Well, why not block out an hour and go for 30? Well, if that didn't double it. I doubled my time, but why didn't you double the number? That's that BHOG, that big, hairy, audacious goal. So his now goal, he blocked out 1 hour to reach out to these prospects, reaching out to 30. His first week, he says, I failed. I only got 28. I'm like, well, that's better than your 10 last week. So then he started realizing it, and he continues to put a BHOG on almost everything. And he comes close to a lot of them, but that's better than what his ceiling was. He's shooting up here now. That's so much better. What is yours? What are your capabilities? What are your priorities in the next couple of years? Hire staff, buy the building. What is it? Your KPIs. What is your key performance indicator? What is the main number that really says it all about your business? One of my clients was an insurance agent. So he actually took out the service income, that's the residual income of everything, and only looked at new business. He knew if he grew new business, his retention was already high, so he can ignore that number. He focused on new business only, and he did that with his staff. That was his KPI. He looked at that with his staff every week. That was their main metric. And what's your brand promise? What are you promising your staff, your clients? And then goals. What are your goals for the next year? This is, everything we've already talked about is right back into the sheet. These are your financials, accounts receivable, accounts payable, quick ratios. What is the one quick ratio for your business? Your initiatives, your priorities. What are your big priorities for the year? What are they? Maybe it's to hire new staff. Maybe it's to take a vacation. Who knows? But put them in here. I love this one. Someone brought this up and we put it in here, and it's the elevator pitch. What is your elevator pitch? That, because you're going to get asked everywhere you go, what do you do, right? Number one question you're going to get asked as a business owner. Have a great elevator pitch. Put it in here. It's going to change. Why? You did all these goals and everything. Your elevator pitch now needs to reflect back to those goals, back to the priorities, back to your targets, back to your action steps, everything. It's going to change. And then actions. Here we go again. These are quantifiable results. What action are you going to take every quarter? Your rocks and accountability. What are your priorities? What are the musts? Who's going to do what by when? Is Sally going to create that sales of, 100,000 sales a month. Put it in here. Be as specific as possible. What are you going to do? Make those 30 calls every single day in 1 hour? Your hot topics. One of my clients put down as hot topic was get the business out of debt. Number one hot topic. I'm thinking, most people say revenue and all these other things. So why was that so important to him? And we found out how much debt he was in. It was a giant cloud actually harming the business because of all the interest and fees and penalties. That's why it was a hot topic. So our number one goal was to get out of debt. Then we work on other things in the business. What is your hot topic? What is the one thing you got to really make happen? I'm in an accountability group and everyone has a theme for the year. And it's kind of fun. It kind of gives us like, what's our goal per quarter? And it's a theme, but we have a deadline. We have to accomplish one big thing in a quarter per quarter. It's kind of like, for those of you who read the 12-week year, amazing book, highly recommend it. You shove a whole year's worth in 12 weeks. Not all your goals, realistic chunk size goals, but it's amazing how much you will get accomplished in 1 year. Put all that in there and then give it a name. Remember, in your vision book, I said, be as specific and visually as possible. Give it a name. It sounds crazy. I kid you not. When you start saying, my goal is perseverance this year. That's my theme this year, is perseverance. Or maybe it's growth. Maybe it's, I'm going to be the marketing king of the world. Whatever it is, put it in there. And like I mentioned, your action steps. What actions are you taking towards your theme? Scoreboard. How are you going to measure everything? Many of my clients have giant whiteboards in their businesses and they have it all listed out, nice grids. And here's one that I think every one of my coaches has ever told me is like, how are you going to celebrate once you hit those milestones, those goals? Celebrate your wins, celebrate it with your staff, your partner, spouse, whatever the case may be, your community. One business I know is a restaurant. He has these goals and he goes, if I hit these goals, I'm going to throw a big community day and invite, homeless shelters, and I'm going to feed them all on my dime. I'll pay for all the staff, everything. Same guy hits his goals every single quarter. And now he's known for these community days every single quarter. Why? His business is doing that good because he has a strategic plan. But he celebrates the wins that way. He celebrates it with everyone. What's your baseline? Where are you at now? And where do you want to be? Be as specific as possible. This is your part of your strategic plan. So we went over a whole bunch of materials, worksheets. You're probably going, oh my God, it's going to take me months and months to do this. Realistically, it should take you a weekend of serious thinking. That's not messing around, watching TV and mowing the lawn and all these other things. We're talking 2-3 days of some serious focus. What I always suggest to business owners is block out time in your schedule every single week for strategic planning throughout the whole year. Usually 2 hours on a late Friday afternoon when everything starts dying down. Shut your door down, shut your door, no one comes in, turn off your phone, no emails, shut all that down and look at where your plan is. What are you planning for next week, next month? Where are you at this week, last month? Look at those things. Create the plan. It helps when you're doing it in a group like a mastermind group or even a workshop such as this. When you're creating the plan, it really kind of helps solidify. And it's not just like if you get stuck, you can always say, hey, listen, I'm kind of stuck on this. And just say it out loud. And someone's going to give you that spark, that idea, the resource that'll get you unstuck. Maybe it could be your staff member. It could be your coach, your mentor, significant other, spouse, whoever it is. Find that help and get unstuck. It's going to take you seconds to get unstuck. But if you stay stuck, it could just shut you down for God knows how long. So go ahead and ask for help on that. I hope this helped for you to create a strategic plan. Find what works for you in your business. Like I said, you don't have to do all of this. Just get something on paper, on computer, so you can see it visually every single day, and you can measure the results of where you are today, where you want to be, and you have a plan to get there. And if you should ever need our help, please let us know. All of our contact information will be probably in all the worksheets and everything else. We're here to help you grow your business. So I want to see you guys build a long-term sustainable business and build the business of your dreams. My name again is Steve Feld, aka Biz Coach Steve. I wish you and your business much success.